first up. Gonna transition. Keyword is battle here today.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm B, and I will be presenting about the president role. So again, hello, fellow D2 members. I am one of y'all, a fellow D2 member.
Hey.
So what does the president do? So this is just like an overview. So first of all, they're like the head of the society and the executive team. They're pretty much the face of D2MG, so like the spokesperson. And then also you just have to talk and meet a lot of people. So, in and out of the society. So if you're extroverted, perfect role for you. If you're introverted, like me, this is very difficult, but you'll get through it. So the role of the president within the executive team. So first of all, I guess the most obvious thing is you lead the team. So leading the team, you also have to know a bit about each portfolio and each role. So you're involved with all the portfolios, all of the officers, and like you have to delegate tasks to them. You have to be fairly organized and understand what each portfolio is doing. And there's a lot of decision making. Being the head of the executive team, a lot of the decisions lie in your opinion. So, yeah. And lastly, you have to get to know everybody and support the team, because what's the point of leading the team if you don't know your team? Yeah. So role in the UNSW and wider community. So yeah, of course you're the face of D2MG. So people outside of D2MG, the other UNSW societies and the wider dance community, you're pretty much representing the D2 community and society to them. You'll meet new members and you have to try and make them feel welcome to the best of your ability. You'll have to talk to so many people that are outside of the D2 society. So that includes the other societies like ModSoc and other UNSW societies and organizations, teachers, the wider dance community. So that could be Crossover, which is a Sydney-based dance studio that is heavily connected in the uni dance scene. And yeah, just a bunch of other different groups. So another thing, being president, you have to support and help grow the D2 community. And the last one, of course, we are a hip-hop society, so we have to help promote hip-hop values and knowledge, the elements, and the community. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, everybody.
Oh,
Let's go.
very, very good gifts there, my man.
Please become president or VP, any of the president roles. Thank you.
All right, can y'all see?
Yes.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So I am the D2MG's vice president and secretary. And so we'll start with the first thing, which is the vice president role. So first things first, do you like helping people? Do you like putting out fires? Do you like sitting side by side with people and talking through them through whatever sadness they're going through? Do you like helping people in their portfolios, whatever portfolio it may be? Or do you enjoy overseeing and managing things? Like you're looking down from everything and you're looking down from on top and you're looking at seeing how the whole society works and like how everything goes, and also being present and being involved in all the planning and everything and all that. Well, that is what mostly the vice president does. So mostly for the vice president, you'll be assisting and working hand in hand with our president to oversee and organize everything. So therefore, it is crucial to understand about like the whole works as a society. Like as Beatrice has said just now, how there's going to be a lot of like talking to people inside and outside of society. You'll be working hand in hand with the president to talk to all of those like people outside the society, such as like teachers or like studios and whatnot. And especially for UNSW, there is also the grievance officer role. And in D2, the grievance officer role is also, the grievance officer role is also given to the vice president. So what you do is you need to handle the conflict between people. And you are also the go-to person when there have been grievances. So if there's people in grief, you'll be the go-to person for them to talk to and for them to get some help with whatever they're facing and whatever they're going through. Yeah, so that's mostly what the vice president is. It's mostly just what the president does and also the grievance officer part. So you have to, it's mostly just working and helping the president with everything that you can. And next, we also have the secretary role, right? So in the secretary role, there is a lot of satisfaction from you seeing a whole email filled with unread emails and spam, and you just have to click all of them, select all, and click mark as read because a lot of them is spam. Yes. And also, you like writing fancy emails to other societies or to like other organizations? And do you want people to read everything that you have to say in the minutes that you write? Well, that is what the secretary does. For the secretary, it's mostly just about like organizing meeting times and writing the minutes for each and every meeting. So if you like people reading what you have to say, everyone has to read what you say because that's your role. You are the secretary and you're writing minutes. And on top of that, the other part of the secretary role is it's writing emails to people who reach out to D2, and also your role as a secretary is to find sponsors for our big events like levels. So that's why it's important as a secretary to always be checking your email and to always be on top of all the Google Drive stuff, because that is Google Drive stuff like your minutes and stuff. So because that is what you will be looking at for the most part. Yeah. So that is the secretary and the vice president roles. Thank you.
So, I am here to present the role of treasurer. Hooray! The money maker, the hustler of the society. So I haven't timed my presentation, so it might be a bit long. Yeah, my usual way of talking in the meeting. So yeah, today you will learn about how to make money 101 with me, Helena Lin. So this is the table of contents. We have 9 sections to go through. So they are all different responsibilities of the treasurer, and I will just explain in brief for each. And the last dot point is the takeaway, so what you'll get from being a treasurer. So what does a treasurer say? Usually people's impression is that a treasurer is only in charge of grants and money, but a treasurer in D2 can be much more than that. So yeah, how? So the first responsibility is before the first term and even before the O week. A treasurer has to be part in the discussion of the promo video. So basically, before the term starts, we are organizing a promo video for D2 to basically promote our society. And so that is a expense for you to pay. And basically, throughout the whole week, we have like the meet and greet and other events. So people will buy snacks and incur other expenses for society, and basically you have to reimburse them using the society account. And also during the week when people sign up to D2, you have to make sure everyone pays. No free riders for our society. And lastly, the most important, you have to apply grants. So to make sure that we don't go bankrupt at the start of the year. So a good treasurer is the one who applies grant in time. Don't leave it to the last minute because ARC is very hard to deal with. And the second job for you is the weekly classes. So basically a normal treasurer, they find class teachers, they find class admins to oversee the class, like each class we have. So the hip hop, popping, the breaking classes and the crump classes we have. And basically at the start of the term or even the start of year, you have to write up a brief instruction for class admins for them to know how to best perform their job. Also, you have to set up spreadsheets and Google Drive folders for the class admins to upload attendance forms and class photos and other relevant information. So the hard part in this is that you have to chase up people, in that fun. So if you're a really scary person, that might be your strength. So yeah, and lastly, you still have to apply grants for our weekly classes. And a good treasurer does more than a normal treasurer. A good treasurer handles emergency well. So these emergencies include teachers quitting halfway through the term, class admins being suddenly unavailable throughout the day, and admins forgot to take class photos or fill out the Google spreadsheet. So you'll have to deal with that emergency and have the ability to adapt to different situations. And also, a treasurer has to oversee the financial state of the society in the long term. So basically, you have to cancel or change classes when the turnout isn't good enough, or the teacher is not available, or the teacher changes the price charged. And you also may add classes demanded by community members. So say if there are like lots of people interested in house, but we don't have a house class yet. So maybe it's for you to initiate a conversation with the president or vice president to add that into the next term. So the next section, we have our workshops and big events. Ooh, levels! Cry. So yeah, a normal treasurer usually budget judging, MC, DJ fees, and audience entry price. And you also need to come up with the refund policy. So basically, when can we do refund? Like, is it the day before or is it half a day before? And how much do we refund? Do we refund full price or like half price? And also like other pricing policy include like, do we allow regular only or do we allow walk-ins? And you also need to find sponsorship for big events like our non-existing levels for this year. But yeah, you have to liaise with different parties and find out the best match for D2. So basically it matches our community representation as a hip-hop society, and also that has money. And also you have to communicate with events team in charge of that event to make sure that everyone pays. Again, yeah, no one can pay. No one can enter our event without paying. And also you have to sell merch at our big events. So basically, you have to delegate tasks to different people, and then have a instruction available for them to know, or like what's the price of each, and how to best market our product. Yeah, and also make sure that everyone pays for the merch. And also you have to pay people, like pay the judges, MC, and DJs. And last but not least, you have to apply grant again. Haha. And also a good treasurer, being better than a normal treasurer, they have to discuss all the key decisions with the team, including what teachers to get for workshops, what judges to get for big events, and what locations and time we can have for the workshop within the term, or like in the holiday. So we make sure that our workshops and big events have the highest turnouts. Yeah. And also, you can create different ways to raise profit for the event. Other than selling D2 merch, you can have like partnership with like different like startups like within the community, like different dancers have their own businesses, and then you can alliance with them to see like if that's a avenue for us to make profits. Okay. Next up, we have performances. Performances. We are mainly working with D2 Choreo crew team. Hey, so basically, a normal treasurer has to budget the fees paid to the choreographer, and they have to also apply grants where possible. So a good treasurer, being better, they have to discuss choreographer option with the choreo crew leader to make sure that we maximize the value brought to the society members, which is our choreo crew, and also minimize the cost incurred to the society. Also, we have other events that normally don't have any entry fees applied, including this event. So social events or like other events like this, the only job for you is to apply grants. So as normal, a good treasurer always apply grants in time. Don't leave it to the last minute because ARC is grumpy. And now we have the formal treasure event. So it's a fundraising event. This year we did the Krispy Kreme fundraiser. This is basically treasurer's playground for you to be creative, for you to have different ideas. A normal treasurer initiate the event when D2 is out of money. They also discuss with the rest of the team to decide what to sell. And the most important part is that they price the product. And for that, you have to work with Excel spreadsheet. And yeah, hint to all the commerce students, finance students, accounting students out there. Yeah, it's a good way for you to practice. And also, you have to record the sales each day to see what sells best at what time, on what day, and you have a reference for the next time you have fundraising events. So you have to also adopt your pricing strategy and add different pricing deals depending on the sales made every day. And basically, you have to consider lots of other factors, including the freshness of your product, including the popularity of people coming to the campus, and lots of other stuff. And last stop, you have to produce the income loss statement so that the team knows how much we earned. And a good treasurer, they do all the above in the perfect way. Yeah. So, the next big treasure event is the merge, which is also undergoing right now. A normal treasure discusses oh, hang on. Am I? Yeah, this is the same thing as the fundraising event. So a good treasurer, a normal treasurer, initiate and basically keep track of when to start selling the merch, and then you have to initiate the merch sale before it gets late. So then not to drag it too far into the end of the year. And also you have to discuss what to sell with the rest of the team, and you have to find manufacturers to ensure quality and minimize the cost incurred to society, basically to earn money. And as usual, the most important part is that you have to price the merch and make sure that we D2 don't fuck up our budget because you are bad at maths. So you have to keep a track of record of who ordered the merch and then make sure that the goods are delivered to the right person. You have to also adopt and handle different emergency situation. For example, like manufacturer closes down because of lockdown, or if the number of pre-orders are too low, and then you have to promote it in a more aggressive way. And lastly, you have to show the team how much you make through merch, and that will be also in the form of an income loss balance sheet. And a better treasurer, they are creative in what merch to sell and not being lame in the usual way to just sell clothes and stuff. You can have other D2 specific stuff to sell. And also, more importantly, because we're dealing with external stakeholders, you have to handle the emergency situation quite well. So yeah. And last part, the last task for you to do is during the holiday. A normal treasurer lodge financial documents with ARC during the holiday. But a better treasurer, they keep fortnightly or monthly records, so then they don't really cram their work to the last minute. And that's all the responsibilities. So, that should be, yeah, is that, oh yeah, that's a duplicate slide. Ignore that, okay. So, what you can get out of being a treasurer? So the first off, you have the unique CFO experience, namely the Chief Financial Officer experience. So you get to see how an organization like us handles its finance, and you also get to participate in almost every key decision-making process because you're in that core executive team. You have an overview, holistic view of the whole society, and then you basically communicate with president and vice president a lot. Also, you learn about different pricing strategies. You have the opportunity to apply data analysis and information gathering skills in creating different pricing strategies, creating different bundles, different deals, depending on the market demand. So yeah, you have a chance to create your own demand supply curve. And the last stop, you have Excel 101 with Helena, aka me, to introduce you to the wonderful world of Excel spreadsheet, a treasure must-have. So this is a private tutoring that you will not get anywhere else. And also, you will get the chance to add the following skill set to your resume. So you will have proficient communication skills because you will have to deal with a lot of mess. You have excellent problem-solving skills because you have to discover the problem if we are running low on our account balance, and then you have to come up with ways to solve it. And also, you have to have adaptation skills to basically adapt to different changes, dealing with emergencies, and you will have the experience handling with different stakeholders, both internally with president, vice president, different events team, marketing team, and media team in terms of different events. And then you also have to communicate with external stakeholder like sponsors and also ARC. So last up, you have leadership skills, which you will gain out of training and supervising class admins. You have to delegate merge handling tasks at really big events, and more importantly, you have to be able to listen to others' opinion, but also back up your own opinion because you are the money man. You are the only one in charge of the finance. And also, what can you get out of being our treasurer more comparing to other treasurers? Cough, cough, not targeting to anyone specifically. But yeah, for D2 treasurer, basically a treasurer equals to a whole treasurer plus a whole head admin for classes plus 50% of public relations and plus 50% of VP. So what does that mean? Basically, you are a treasurer, but you're more than a treasurer. You not only in charge of money, but you also be in charge of the classes, and also you have to deal with ARC and also all the sponsors and probably more societies out there. And also, you get the chance to basically apply your leadership skills to basically motivate the whole team to better perform their task, to basically raise their awareness of issues that you are aware of, but others may not be aware of, such as our society is running low on finances, and you also be able to voice your opinions and basically have more opportunity to get hands into different events at the meetings comparing to other societies. And also for our job responsibility of being a head admin for classes, you had the chance to get your favorite dancer to teach weekly classes. Cough, cough, this is my way of getting close to Nana. But also, more importantly, this is a place of innovation. There are also lots of different opportunities to take initiatives and be creative about what events you want to hold, and basically what pricing strategies and what business models you can choose for our events, and basically how you raise the profit. And not only finance related events, but you can also raise your opinion about what events D2 need in terms of increasing our online or in-person exposure, so we can make D2 popularity a bit higher. So the more people, the more money. The more money, the richer D2 is. So what can you bring D2? The most important stuff is always to make D2 rich again, but also is to help fund the society so we can provide the best to our members. And the most important principle of being a treasurer is not about earning money endlessly, but to spend money in the right way to maximize the.
Okay. So this year I was D2's ARC delegate, and so I'm presenting this as the 2021 ARC delegate. So this is whoops am I? So I became the ARC delegate because I actually thought it was the easiest role, because as a subcom I looked around, I saw the execs, and I was like, Chad doesn't really look like he's doing that much, and so I offered to do this role. But then I became the media director at the same time, so I'm still busy. So I'm right here to tell you that ARC delegate is hands down the best role in the team. And okay, I don't know what that is, but yeah, I enjoy talking to people. That's just an extra fact about me. Okay, and so to summarize the ARC delegate role, for any of you guys that are interested, I've created a poem.
It's an acrostic poem with Arc Delegate. Oh my god, who would have thought? Okay, so I'll be going through this acrostic poem with you in a few seconds. So this is like a brief glance of it here, but we're going to go into every single letter. So A is for Arc is your boo, okay? So some of you guys, like, you guys are pretty new. You guys have been to uni, but uni has mostly been online. So you haven't really interacted with Arc in real life as much. So what the heck is Arc? So Arc is just like the student life part of our uni. And so what you are is you're the link between D2MG and Arc. And Arc is there to help regulate, mandate clubs and like dictate what you need to do. So like they're like dictating what you need to do. So you gotta listen to them. So they're kind of like Stalin and Hitler over there. And so R is for room bookings, reaffiliation, and O week. So I like to call this the rob money principle. So this is basically what you would do as an ARC delegate. So you're in charge of R is for reaffiliation, and that's something at the end of each term. Okay, I don't know. Wait. So when the execs finish their year of exec stuff, you'll be in charge of helping like fill out a lot of forms for that. And you're also in charge of O week. And there's a lot of forms you got to fill out for O week. And so you also do bookings. You got to book a lot of rooms, and you got to book a lot of equipment. And you got to post all these events to Spark. And so because of this, your role might look really up and down all the time because sometimes you'll be busy and sometimes you'll have free time. So during O week and reaffiliation, you might have to fill out lots of forms and like read lots of emails, but then there'll be other times where you're pretty free. And so yeah, this is kind of like what I said here. So you, as an art delegate, you will have like free time for yourself to do study and other things, or you can like offer yourself up and take initiative and you do even more D2 stuff. So for example, something I did was like I took this idea from my other society, like this info night idea. Okay, and this is the rest of the acrostic poem. So it's coolest exec role, it's the chillest exec role, it's an excellent role. You get to fill in heaps of forms, and so events is your bestie. So you have to stay on top of all the events. And so you get to post events to Spark. A is for admin vibe work. So if you're interested in admin vibe work, this is the thing for you. And you can take initiative, and this is like an epic role. And so the qualities you would need is time management, willing to be up to date with what's happening, happy to send emails, and happy to fill out lots of booking forms. And that's it.
And I am the events director. I am not in Australia, unfortunately, so it was kind of hard to do events director stuff this year. So if you want to be events director, a really, really good tip is to be in Sydney. Okay. Okay, so what do I do? So basically, I manage and organize events for D2MG. For example, Just Dance and the workshops that we have. By the way, we're having a workshop next week, so I'll go for that. And then I also post the events and Instagram event stuff. Yeah, so for all events. And then this is the organizing skeleton process of how an event should be managed. So first thing is, what event is it? And the second thing is, I quote Tim, what value does it give to the target audience? So you have to think, do people want this event? Will people join it? So yeah, that's the main thing, like the start of everything. So there's that. And then the second part is to create a skeleton with the event. Most of the times this will be done beforehand, and then you discuss it with the other execs during the weekly meetings. So the date, the time, the venue. Venue is important nowadays because the restrictions. So if it's a face-to-face event, you have to make sure that the venue has the right capacity for people, and we're not breaking any standard operating procedures. And then if we're doing like competitions, workshops and stuff, since we have to invite judges or teachers, we have to like list down, or you get, for me, because I don't know much, I don't know a lot of dancers in Sydney because I didn't have a lot of time in Sydney. So most of the time I ask the other execs on like who they think should be our judge or our teacher. So there's that. And then you have to think of like the budget. But most of the time this is for Helena. So you just ask Helena ask the treasurer like about how much can we use to pay the judges, how much do we expect the pricing for the tickets to be. And then you also have to write the estimated schedule, so basically a skeleton beforehand. And then after you get all the names, then you have to contact them. So if you are not particularly close to someone, or you know someone else who are even closer to them, then it's good to ask them like, can you help me ask them if they can help us. And after that, we have to inform media team so they can prepare their idea for like the infographics we have to make, and then also ask the marketing team when they think it's the right time to post. And after that is the more in-depth planning part, but that's like a really huge thing. So I just wrote more in-depth planning. So it's basically you finalizing everything, finalizing the marking criteria, the judging process, the schedule, and all of that. And you post it on Facebook as well, like post the event once the infographics are done. And then for events that are like that involve games especially, or like movie night that we had a week ago, you have to test run it. So I learned this the hard way from orientation because a lot of people didn't really know how the game worked. So it would be good to test it out first. And then, yeah, the movie night was good because like we tested out before if like the Discord server worked. So yeah, test things out if you want to be event director. And then the actual day will be like somewhere in between here. And then after the event is done, then you have a debrief with the entire team. Yeah. And then, so what can you gain from being an events director? Number one is leadership skills, because you will have subcoms. So you have to know how to communicate with them, how to delegate work, like so no one has too much workload, no one has too little, and you yourself are not too stressed out with all of this, because most of us, actually all of us, are still students, so you still have to prioritize your education as well. And then you can also make new friends from like the exec team, the subcoms, and for events, right? Because if face-to-face, like most of the face-to-face events, we would be there. Like back then, I can't because I'm not there. But yeah, you can have a good chance to make new friends, and then it can also teach you how to manage your time well and communicate with others. And also, in every event, and then like people are like happy and stuff, and you can see that. And I don't know, it's just me, but I feel really happy when people are happy that I did something for them. So yeah. And then the job scope. So basically, the main ones is just dance and levels. Unfortunately, we had to cancel levels this year because of the pandemic. And workshops, but workshops depend on you yourself and your team, how many workshops you want. And also social events, for example, the movie night and the board games night we had at the start of the year. And some problems you might face. This is just a little warning. So there are good things of being an events director. There are also bad things. But you know what? You have to go through a challenge. Like every show, there's always a challenge. There's always some crying for the character development to happen. So you have to go through that to have character development. So yeah, the problems that you might face is, number one, is low registration rate. So this often happens, especially for online events like we had, like the trivia night we had last year. It was canceled. But yeah, so a few ways to cope with this is, number one, so for movie night, right, Jess told me that like another society had the same thing, but then they didn't have a really good turnout. So she suggested us to switch the movie to something more attractive instead of Kung Fu Panda, and also adding some games. So, and in the end, our turnout was pretty good. So I feel like it could be a good way to cope with low registration for like social events, especially when they're online. And then the next one is it because of the price? Is it too expensive? If you think it is too expensive, or like you get feedback from people that, oh, I don't want to join it because it's too expensive, then you have to discuss it with the treasurer and see where you can compromise about that. And then the second problem is you might be too busy. So like for me, because I switched universities like in the middle of the year and I had a lot of stuff to do because of that. So I was a bit busy during that period of time. So when you are too busy, you have to remember that like there's a reason why you're not alone. You're not the only exec in the society. There's a reason why you have subcoms. And the thing is about subcoms, they also came in because they want to learn something. They also want to help. Otherwise, why would they volunteer, right? So just ask for help, and of course, they will definitely help you. And the third problem is you might not be sure how the event is supposed to run. This is a big thing that I had because when I was in first year, which is last year, I didn't get to join a lot of events because the pandemic happened and I also came back during August. So I didn't really know how levels were supposed to work. I didn't know how Just Dance was supposed to work. I knew how Wizard and Apprentice was supposed to work, but yeah. One way to cope with this is you can always ask me for help. Like Just Dance, at least I can tell you how because I've experienced it firsthand. And then you can also ask Kim. I hope Kim doesn't mind, but yeah, you can ask me and I can ask Kim. But yeah, okay. And then, okay, that's all. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, any like problems, just text me. Okay, thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Aisha and I was this year's marketing director for D2. Woo! So, what does a marketing director do? Questions to ask yourself. Do you have a profound love for emojis? Are you addicted to social media? Do you want to be the driving force of the D2 community? Well, welcome to Marketing 101. So, basically, marketing, these are the three main themes that I could think of, which are promotion, social media, and engagement. So basically, you're like the middleman between events and media, in a way. So, events has events planned, and media has the graphics for those events planned, and marketing is the one who will post those graphics for those events on our social media pages, which are mainly Facebook and Instagram. We do have TikTok, but don't really use it that much. And lastly is engagement, which basically you use the social media platforms to engage with the community. Yay! So as I said earlier, marketing is like, I wouldn't say it's the middle person, but in a way, yeah, you're like the driving force of the. Why I say it's the driving force of the society is because you're like the base front of things. Like events and media mostly work like behind the scenes. They do the planning, they do the designing, but marketing is the one that presents it to the community. So you have to be creative in trying to appeal to people, and you'll get to experiment with, okay, what kind of posts attract people more? How do you write better posts? Do stories work better or do posts work better? Do shorter posts work better? Do I write longer posts? Does emojis and non-emojis make a difference? So it's all about being creative and kind of thinking from a social, in a way, you can think of yourself as an influencer in a way. Like you wanna maximize your engagements. You wanna, in a way, sell off your products, aka your events, to people. So how do you do that? By having a color coordinated marketing schedule. Woo! So PSA, this was our marketing schedule for June, which was one of the busiest months and the month before lockdown happened. So this is I personally find this very satisfying to see every color for like each subcom has a color for themselves, and I can allocate a post each week for one subcom each, which is very satisfying. So, and this is kind of how you stay organized with all of that, because personally for me, social media isn't my best forte. So I really relied on this a lot. So basically, these are the main tasks of a marketing director, or just marketing in general. Making color coordinated schedules. So you'll work, as I mentioned earlier, you'll work closely with media and events. So you'll think of...
Yeah, Connie.
Sorry? Okay.
Sorry, I was unmuted. That was my bad. Sorry.
Okay, never mind. So, oh yeah, color coordinated schedules. So, you'll work close with media and events. So you'll have to plan out when to schedule what post. Like for example, the event is in 2 weeks' time. How frequent should a post be for that event, and who should post it? Which subcom should you assign to post it? And next is write engaging Facebook posts. Woohoo! So, as I mentioned earlier, our main social media platforms that we use are Facebook and Instagram, and you write a lot of posts. Posts about events in D2 or external events, and you'll have to think of creative and funny and friendly ways to promote those events to people. And also Instagram posts and stories, so thinking of captions, thinking of designing Instagram stories. And this is all up to your creativity. Like, you can use lots of apps, make it interactive, make it creative. So this is a very, I'd say, very creative honing role. There's a lot of, like, it's not just it hones your writing skills, it hones your basic design skills, creativity, marketing, promoting skills. And next is TikTok or Reels. Woo! If I personally don't really use them, but thanks to the Zoomers in our team, we have done some TikToks and Reels for our social media pages. So this is something that you can experiment on if you want to, like, create TikToks or Reel challenges for events and stuff. Next is YouTube. So most of the YouTube videos that are posted, like the promo video, and if we have D2 101, if you want to bring back D2 101, go ahead. You are very welcome to. You are the one responsible for posting those videos as well. So basically, you're the just basically the person in charge of social media pages. And lastly, subcoms are your saving grace. Like, shout out to my subcoms, Jasmine, Ben, and Steven. Woohoo! Since it's a very mentally taxing job to start off with if you're not used to social media, because you have to constantly think of I need to post this, and then I need to post this, I need to post that. And if it's not something that you're used to, you kind of get it kind of burns at the back of your mind constantly. Like, you have to constantly think of social media, of having to post stuff. So yay. And just a warning, you'll have no social media detox for the rest of the year. Haha. So this is why you should be marketing director. basically marketing is the best, the actual best, the very, 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 very best. Like, it's legit the best thing ever. No regrets, no cap. So be marketing. The end.
Okie dokie. So I'm here again. I'm going to be talking about the media director role presented by the 2021 media director. Oh, okay. So it's me again. And so a brief story of how I got into this role is that I studied design and education. And so this role is really fitting for me because graphic design is supposed to be my passion, right? It actually isn't. But yes, so that's how I got into this role, and I'm pretty grateful for that. So the media director role is the absolutely like best role possible if you're like a creative or want to learn more about like what being a creative is like in the industry. So even though this role may have been pretty tiring at times, it's like a really good experience because you're basically having a taste of that creative life of like where all you do is to like make stuff for clients and you have lots of deadlines. So you will be living that designer life, okay? So if you're interested in like that life, this is the role for you because you see these final versions, final 4, final InDesign, you'll be seeing a lot of those. Okay, and so this is kind of my experience as the media director because graphic design is actually not my passion. So yeah. Yeah. And so basically I tried to make a funny acronym again. So I like to think of what we have to do in media as PP. So that stands for Premiere, InDesign, Photoshop. Okay, that's supposed to be Illustrator. But actually, this isn't important. So as a media director, you have lots of freedom in choosing what softwares you want to use, what you want to ask like your subcom to use and stuff. So it's all about like what you want to do with your current skills. And then it's about like you have lots of freedom to experiment with other stuff. So it's not limited to those programs. You can use anything. So I actually used Canva quite a few times to like save myself some time and headaches near the start of the year. Okay, so basically, also this role will teach you a lot of stuff that uni can't teach you. So you see that lecture update, it says useless and then D2MG useful. So basically, if you guys go to COFA, you guys kind of know how the program really doesn't teach you that many practical skills for like the entire degree. And so with D2MG, you get lots of opportunities to actually put those skills into action. So media director puts the dead in deadlines. You will have many of them. So you'll need a calendar. Okay, and one of the other highlights of being media director is that you can dip your feet into so many different things because you're going to be responsible for any of the videos, any of the video editing, or any of the graphic design that comes along with the society. And so being the media director is actually kind of like a pyramid scheme. So even though you're the director, you get a few underlings, which you get to interview at the start of each year. And so basically what you do is that now you can divide all the work you have to do with like your underlings. Yeah, and they help you out a lot, okay? I'm really grateful to the subcom I had this year. Oh, yeah, and it's the slide we're waiting for. It's the BTS and Nicki Minaj collab for Idol. So basically, I just wanted to touch on how Aisha and Eva were talking about how we work together. So you and all the other directors will work together to organize everything. So you need to be besties with them. Okay, and so the role. This is some other stuff about the role. Like you will learn a lot about yourself through this role. So basically what I learned, like my self-discovery, was that I liked being funny and I actually don't really like graphic design. So you see that meme over there? Like I like making memes, but I don't like using my brain. That's a bit unfortunate. And so here are some of the qualities you will need or you want to like learn and develop. So like time management, creativity, initiative, communicating with other execs and your subcom, and putting your vision into the aesthetics. And so you're the boss of all the designs and stuff. So you call the shots with designs, aesthetics, and merch. And you need to keep up with D2 events because you need to like make all the graphics for it. And you need to learn how to like prioritize stuff in your life because there's quite a lot of work to do with making lots of graphics for D2. basically, as a director, you get to put your vision with like anything you want. So like that Me My Maid was really kind of like random, but I get to do it because I'm the director. Yeah. Okay, so time management is extremely important if you want to be the media director. So I started this presentation like 20 minutes before this event, and so that's really bad. Shows that I haven't really learned anything from my time at uni, but that is something really important and something you will develop as media director. And so to the future media director, I will always be there to help. And that's it for this. Sorry, I went like over like a bit. Goodbye.
Okay, I'll just say next for next slide. Okay, next. Okay, so a little bit about me. So I like dancing. I've been part of a crew since 2017. My only friends in uni are D2MG. I like making artsy things. I'm also a choreo leader, but I can't choreograph. I'm also look extroverted, but I'm actually an introvert. So this role really helped open up and force my other personality. And I also like lasagna. Next. So about you. So preferably it would be great if you had some choreo experience to be a choreo leader. It would also be really good if you're very good at communication and you have good reply game, because this role requires a lot of communication with talking to your team members and your amazing exec team. And this would be great if you want to learn about dance in all its forms. So with choreo, it's very versatile. There are many styles when it comes to choreo, so this would be really fun to explore. And being a choreo leader would be a great way to meet new people and create your own community, aka your choreo crew. And it would be great if you had good organizational skills, because this role also includes organizing the regos of all your team members, letting your team members know all the dates of the events, because you have the choice to perform in different events such as levels, upstage, synergy, just dance. You can perform in random places, so it would be good to organize your time, because choreo does take time to prepare for these performances. Next. Okay, so about this role. You organize meetups and prac times. So for us, we kept changing it, but originally it was every Tuesday. So you also have to know the availability of all your team members and basically come up with a meeting time that meets everyone. So you can create your own choreo, or you can outsource choreographers. So if you have been wanting to create your own choreo and share it with others, this would be a great opportunity for you to kind of like experiment and, hone your skills. And you also form your own little family and community, your little D2 choreo crew. So it's like a small little group where, you guys basically spend time with each other, even outside of dance. And yeah, you create a team to perform at events and represent D2MG. And you're also an integral part to creating the most memorable experiences people will remember even after leaving D2MG. So this year, unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of events due to COVID, but Upstage was one of our biggest events and one of the most memorable events from this year that I will remember. So yeah, I just linked some photos. Next. Okay, the pros. This is definitely the most wholesome role because it's all about making friends and bringing together a team of people that you can call your little choreo crew family. And then you also get to experience the adrenaline from different performances together and basically go through all the tough times preparing the choreo, practicing together, and performing it. And I think those are like the best memories you could have with the choreo crew. And it also helps your choreo retention. So if you struggle a lot with remembering choreo, fear not, because this will definitely challenge you to get better at your craft. Connections to the wider dance scene. So in this role, it's inevitable for you to basically meet people from different parts of the dance scene, which is great because it kind of forces you to, open yourself up to people and different experiences and knowledge. And as a crew leader, you make your own rules. So if you want to have your own impromptu photo shoot with your crew, you can do it. If you want to wear all purple and green in your performances, it's all up to you, basically. You can do anything with your crew that you think will be best. It's limitless. Next. So, I just wanted to let you know that you will have embarrassing photos of yourself posted online. I think if you're gonna see Choreo, then it's inevitable for people to see your face. You may or may not lose sleep from practicing at 11 p.m. at ICC. Only Choreo crew members will know that we spent literally every day at night at ICC practicing for Upstage because it was so last minute. And our costumes, I don't know why we looked like The Rock the whole time, but I guess it would be fun to make this a tradition every year for you to wear this. And also be wary of, like, when you're nervous, you do fart, and we did have many incidents backstage where all of us were really gassy before we performed that we kind of bombarded the whole place with our fart gas. So I just wanted to put out a little disclaimer that can happen because, yeah. And next. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you know that this role is a very wholesome role. And yeah, go Choreo! That's it. Thank you for my presentation.
Okay, so I was battle crew leader for this year. I think I want to run through exactly what the goals are, and then I'll talk about exactly what we're doing. So first up, got a transition. Keyword is battle here today, and I think that's what we're mostly talking about. I think everyone here already has a decent understanding of like what a battle is and how it relates to hip hop. Definitely a big part of the whole thing. So we expect every single uni society which is promoting hip hop culture to be like, oh, let's have battles. But we can't just host battles and let them roll naturally because unfortunately they're not very engaging to most people. So they have a few problems I want to address. First one, battles are hard, right? Most people see battling as like a really difficult skill to ascertain. There's no clear right and wrong what you can do, so there's no template to follow. It takes a long time to get used to. It's a lot of like really hard to get into. So the standard new gen dancers who come into D2MG who we've spent all day talking about how to engage, we can't really get them into something like a battle because it's something difficult to do, right? Next point, battles are spooky. Battles are scary, right? It is a very confronting and frightening thing to jump into. So for most people, they don't even want to give it a go because once they've watched like Step Up 2 or whatever, and then I haven't watched Step Up 2, but there's probably a really like angry fight scene in there. They probably see that and they're like, oh, I never want to give battling a go because it's scary, right? So far we have the idea that battles are very difficult to partake in and they're very scary to partake in. So we're already predisposed to not enjoy them. And then finally, battles are battles. Like at the end of the day, I think unless someone has watched Step Up 2 and really liked the battles they saw in there, they're not going to want to be engaged in it, right? So we have this very core essential part of not necessarily our community, but the hip hop community, and we would like to share that with the dancers who we invite to D2MT. But that is very difficult to just do alone. So that's where the battle crew leader come in. That's where you come in on a cool skateboard. Okay. A battle leader, your main goal is to make battle culture welcoming. Okay. Essentially, you want to look at every single point I just addressed, and you want to think about how you can try and alleviate those fears and discomforts to make battle culture seem very welcoming. The exact activities you might do to take that up aren't actually very clear because it's a rather new role compared to the others. It comes down ultimately to like your creativity and your organization and where you want to take the battle crew and how you want to guide people to learn what they want to learn, right? Like personally, this year, even though we had COVID and it kind of shut down all my plans, whilst I was running the battle crew, a lot of what I was doing was just taking my knowledge of freestyle dance and trying to extend that to others. I was organizing weekly meetups for everyone to come to, and I was bringing together like physical activities or drills that people could do together to just up their freestyle skills. Even though the keyword is battle crew leader, the idea is to just make people comfortable with the idea of battling because if they want to get to it, they will get to it on their own time. So a lot of what I was doing was shifting the D2 battle crew more towards just a general freestyle crew and giving people the opportunity to just practice their freestyle skills. So what you want to do as a battle crew leader is cultivate an environment that is very, very welcoming to everyone. So again, how you want to do that is not very clear, but as an example for what I personally have done is it pretty much just comes down to organizing weekly meetups, speaking with your fellow execs and event organizers to see how you can drive engagement in the battle crew and get people into the door in the first place. You have to be a very sociable and somewhat extroverted person to have the energy to just harass every single person you meet in the society to come along to your meets. I would say, like, whilst everyone is welcome to try for whatever role they want in the world to their heart's content or whatever they wish, unfortunately, I think this is a role that, unless you feel very comfortable with battling already, this is not the best role for you. I think all the other skills can definitely be improved upon and learned, like all the skills of organization and planning and becoming a more like extroverted and leadership type person can definitely be learned over time. But the core skill of being able to understand what kind of exercises you should partake in and what kind of drills you can do to make people feel comfortable with the idea of battling is something that is very dependent on the way you want to teach and the way you see the dance. So I feel like this is a role for someone who already has a grasp of what battling is to them and how it works to them so that they can share that with other people. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I don't have like a thank you questions card on the end of this presentation.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I want to be a battle crew leader.